Hello, friends. This is uh, the new second class actually of the series of e-learning class, and we are having a discussion on the topic of anatomy of the ear. In the previous class, we have discussed about the anatomy of the external ear. Let me expand this slide. So, in order to have a quick revision, I will like to segregate the ear into three parts: the external ear, the middle ear, and this convoluted and complex, the internal ear. And this is again we have already discussed the outer part of the ear, also called as the pinna segment and the canal segment. This pinna segment and the canal segment. So a quick revision of the external ear is. This pinna is a single yellow elastic cartilage. It has got various topographical, anatomical uh, nomenclature like helix, antihelix, tragus, antitragus, and lobule. And this convoluted pinna rolls on itself and leads into the cartilaginous in the lateral part and bony in the medial part, a canal. This is called an external auditory canal. The cartilaginous part is called as canal, whereas the bony segment is called as external auditory meatus. And this canal terminates into the lateral surface of the tympanic membrane. Now we will discuss about this partition between the middle ear and the external ear, which is found by a thin paper-like paper thin material, paper thin structure, which is called as tympanic membrane. So this part we have already discussed. So anatomy forms the basis of the radiological anatomy. So the anatomy, you can say that anatomy, we have got three type of anatomy, like cadaveric anatomy. Number two is the radiological form of the anatomy, which is represented by a CT scan and a MRI scan. And the third type of anatomy is endoscopic anatomy. So these three can only be learned by having a proper three-dimensional knowledge of the structure of the concerned structure. So this we have already discussed, the outer ear. So this is the tympanic membrane. So tympanic membrane is uh, it separates the outer ear from the middle ear. So this is not the it is a schematic diagram of the tympanic membrane. This is a schematic diagram, but actually this is actually a let this is a actual tympanic membrane. This is an endoscopic picture of the tympanic membrane. Uh, this is not a schematic diagram. And for the beginners, ENT practice is all about instrumentation. It's all about instrumentation. You have to have a good quality of instrument and how to use the instrument. So basically, all the structure, the nasal cavity and the ear and the throat uh, are are deep structures and only can be visualized by different type of endoscopes, by using different type of endoscopes. There are two type of endoscopes. For the clinical purpose, I am going to elaborate few more things. So this is again a basic anatomy thing. So we have got two types uh, of endoscope. Number one is a rigid endoscope, and the second one is um, is a is a soft endoscope or a flexible endoscope. So this is a picture taken by a rigid endoscope. So let me again expand this, and let me see if I can write. So we can take a pen option here, and this is a tympanic membrane. This is the superior part for anatomical configuration. This is orientation. This is superior part. This is inferior part. This outer part or the lateral part is obviously the external auditory canal, and this the central picture. This central picture is nothing but a tympanic membrane itself. You should also keep in mind this is as a endoscopic picture of a tympanic membrane. Endoscopic picture of the tympanic membrane. So this is superior, inferior, and this obviously is the anterior part, and this supposed to be the posterior part. We have got few important basically the tympanic membrane is a paper thin 0.1 uh, uh, of mm, 0.1 mm, 1 billionth of a centimeter is the thickness of the 1 billionth of a centimeter is the thickness of the tympanic membrane, and it has got three layers, so again it has got uh, three layers. Yes, these are the three layers of the tympanic membrane. This is the outer is the skin layer. It is a continuation of the epithelium from the canal itself, which is keratinized squamous epithelium. Keratinized squamous epithelium. Epithelium. So the outer layer of the tympanic membrane is the continuation from the skin of the canal, and the middle fibrous layer is having muscle fibers which extends vertically, horizontally, and even parabolic in parabolic fashion. So the third layer is the mucosal layer, which is nothing but the continuation of the mucosa from the middle layer. So in between these two, mucosal and the epithelial, lies the this fibrous layer. Fibrous layer is called as because it is a layer which consists of muscle fibers. These muscle fibers gives the strength to the tympanic membrane. Strength to the tympanic membrane. So going again on to the endoscopic picture. So we have got three layers of the tympanic membrane, and all these three layers combined together, joined together to form a thick rim-like structure on the periphery, which is called as annulus or annulus fibrosus. And this tympanic membrane is grooved into the bone itself, and which stabilizes the tympanic membrane. So this three layers of the tympanic membrane are thickened in the periphery, and this is grooved into the fossa like structure into the bone itself, anchored into the bone itself. So we have got two major segments of the tympanic membrane. So this is the large segment. This one is called as pars tensa, and it forms the majority of the tympanic membrane. The upper part, this loose part, is called as pars flaccida. Pars flaccida. So pars flaccida is the superior part of the tympanic membrane. Pars tensa is the inferior part of the tympanic. The tympanic membrane, majority of the tympanic membrane is formed by pars tensa. This has got three layers, but this flaccid segment, the loose laxity segment of the tympanic membrane, is the superior part. It forms about 8 to 10% of the surface area of the tympanic membrane. So let me again. So this this structure is, this bony structure is nothing but the lateral process of the malleus, and this is a cone of light. So let me take you to again a whiteboard. I will like to have. So we have got sorry to so we have got uh, let me draw a tympanic membrane here. So this is a tympanic membrane. This is a thickened outer surface of the tympanic membrane, which is grooved into the bone itself. Annulus tympanicus. This is called an annulus tympanicus, and it is grooved into the bone itself. Bone in the sense is temporal bone, temporal bone, temporal bone. And we have got this prominence is handle of malleus. Head of the malleus lies in the superior part, which is not visible through the tympanic membrane. Tympanic membrane is a translucent structure. Translucent structure, and depending upon the age and ethnicity, the transparency of the tympanic membrane varies. So this is the head of the malleus lies uh, in the attic segment. The word attic is very important in otology. Attic means the superior part, superior of even a tympanic membrane or a mid layer. Anything is attic. Attic in the sense is the superior part of the which lies in the roof is attic. So the head of the malleus lies in the attic segment, in the attic segment of the mid layer. Behind this will be the incus, and which again uh, continues to be the smallest part of the body, the small bone of the body, which is called as stapes. Stapes, stapes. Again, we can take this structure like this. We have got endomalleus behind this, and lateral to the malleus. The head lies into the attic like this. This is the incus, and this is the stapes. So two major portions of the tympanic membrane will be the pars tensa inferiorly. Inferiorly will be the pars tensa, and the superior flaccid segment, which is dimeric in the senses, which only had got two layers: the epithelial layer laterally and the mucosal layer medially, and the middle layer is missing. But in pars tensa, this part is stout, more tense, and hence called as pars tensa, and has got three layers: trimeric, the outer epithelial, middle is fibrous layer, a mucosal, and the innermost is the medial most is the mucosal layer. So pars tensa, pars flaccida, and this is called as cone of light. Cone of light in the sense is when we direct light from the canal on the tympanic membrane, it got focused into the anterior and inferior segment of the tympanic membrane, and thus illuminating this part of the tympanic membrane particularly, and hence called as cone of light. Cone of light. Cone of light. So these are the basic anatomical considerations of the tympanic membrane: pars tensa, pars flaccida, annulus, the outer thickened part of the which is grooved into the bone itself, these translucency of the tympanic membrane, through which you can see the malleus and the incus, and sometimes the stapes also. So healthy tympanic membrane, which is very common dictum in otology, a healthy tympanic membrane rules out virtually any mid-layer pathology. So all the mid-layer pathology are essentially are reflected on the tympanic membrane, because the mid-layer mucosa is also a layer of the tympanic membrane itself. So again, we will go on the tympanic membrane segment. So this tympanic membrane vibrates as a result of the pressure exerted by the rarefaction or the compression of the sound on the tympanic membrane, which is continued or reflected onto the handle of malleus, and then onto the incus, and thence into the stapes, and then stapes vibrate into the internal ear and pushing the internal ear fluid, which subsequently moves the basilar membrane, and on the basilar membrane lies the organ of Corti, and on the organ of Corti are having generates the electrical impulses, and a mechanical energy is converted into a impulse, a electrical impulse, which is projected to the higher centers. So this is a brief introduction of the hearing hearing pathway. So this part we have already done. So, and moving into the middle ear now. So middle ear is just like a box. Middle ear is just like a box. Let me introduce you to some to a atlas actually. So new share we will do. So let me see. So these are the important fine points we are now having. So this is the pinna cartilage, single yellow elastic cartilage, which is convoluted on itself, rolls on itself. This part is called as cartilaginous part. And 2/3 part, the medial 1/3, this part is a bony part, and this whole ear lies now into the temporal bone. This is outside the temporal bone, and this is inside the temporal bone. And now this is continued as the middle ear. So this is roof of the middle ear. Middle ear is like a box. You can think it is like a box, and it has got a floor, a roof, a lateral wall, a medial wall, an anterior wall, and a posterior wall. Inferior is the floor. This is the roof. This is medial wall. This is lateral wall. So the medial wall is basically the entry into the internal ear. Here we have got semicircular canal, utricle and saccule, and then the organ of which is concerned with the hearing is cochlea. The organ of balance is these three semicircular canals and utricle and saccule, and then the electrical impulse is projected higher to the temporal part of the brain, to temporal lobe of the brain, sorry. So again, let me clear this. So again, brief introduction of the middle ear itself. So this is the middle ear. So the lateral wall of the middle ear, this wall is formed by the tympanic membrane. The roof is formed by middle cranial fossa. So we have got this is sulci and gyri, and it is separated by dura, arachnoid, and pia mater, and then this middle cranial fossa. So the roof is called as tegmen plate. The other word which is used for the middle ear is called as tympanum. So middle ear is also called as tympanum. So middle ear is essentially, it's a air-filled cavity, and it lies between the internal ear and the middle ear. The roof is formed by the middle cranial fossa, and inferiorly we have got a continuation of this cavernous sinus is called as jugular bulb, which continues as a internal jugular vein. So we have got cavernous sinus like this, which is extended as a bulb, a dilated segment, which is called as jugular bulb. Jugular bulb bulb. And this jugular bulb is continued into the neck is called as, and it is called as, then it is called as internal jugular vein. Deep to this will be the carotid artery. We will talk about the carotid artery in a different class. So carotid is very, very important. Carotid in this uh, segment means the internal carotid artery. So we are basically well aware of the fact that, so let me again clear this. Uh, Let me clear all drawings. So we have got carotid artery. Carotid is deep to jugular bulb. Jugular bulb. We have got two division of the carotid artery in the neck: the external carotid, and the internal carotid. Internal carotid. So this external carotid has got 7 divisions like inferior thyroid artery, a maxillary artery, a facial artery, facial artery, superficial temporalis artery, 7 division, and internal this um, internal carotid artery has got no division in neck. There is no division in the neck. The first division, I think, is ophthalmic artery in the brain itself, in the uh, fossa itself. So we'll discuss the middle ear in the next class in detail. We'll go through the 3 bones anatomy, malleus incus stapes. We'll talk about the 2 muscles, the tensor tympani and the stapedius, and then we talk about the mastoid segment of the temporal bone, which has got various cells also, and all of the cells are named also according to the location. So thank you for the patient listening. Thank you very much.